Hi everyone, Nick here, and welcome along to another Gran Turismo Sport video. Haven't said that for a long time. Today, as you'll see here, we're in the Super Formula car and we are at Spa-Francorchamps. This was last week's weekly race C. I think it went quite well and was quite fun, so I figured, why not show you what happened? Okay, so we've got a standing start, traction control up to 2 so I can actually start the race, 5 lights on, and away we go. So we're starting from 3rd position, which is pretty decent, but the first corner is tricky at the start, especially as this game loves absolutely nonsense penalties. Because as you'll see there, for slightly bumping that black and white car on our outside, we've been given a 5-second penalty. No way do I think that punishment fits the non-crime, but we're going to have to slow down halfway down the Kemmel Straight for 5 seconds. And when we do that, you're going to see a lot of cars go past us on the left-hand side. And in fact, not just a lot of cars, all of the cars. And if we just pause it there for a moment, previously when I used to play this game in 2018 and very briefly in 2019, if I'd got a 5-second penalty that completely screwed up my race, I'd have gone a bit nuts really, and I think it would have really annoyed me. However, because I know that the penalty system when I returned to Gran Turismo Sport is a joke, I kind of now saw this as a challenge. I was 3rd on the grid, so I had some pace. I was now 20th with one sector of the race gone. So now the challenge was, how high can I get up the field? Could I get the podium? Let's find out. So the first 3 places on our quest for a podium are pretty easy, as first one person and another go wide and someone just disappears and we're up to 17th. We give 16th a bit of a nudge into that corner. He braked really early. I'm going to say that is entirely not my fault. Although, notice how I've completely rammed him off and I didn't get a penalty. So, ramming people off, accidentally, admittedly, no penalty. Brushing someone's wheel, 5 seconds. Great job, Gran Turismo. Anyway, we're now in 16th place and we've got a lot of traffic up ahead. Think about a move up the inside of Phased Drifter there in his Mercedes. Well, Mercedes look-alike anyway, but we're not really going to get the job done. And we know that we need to get past these cars all very quickly. So Salvatore's had a bit of a wobble. Someone's gone wide on the left-hand side. We've managed to get past Phased Drifter in the straight and we're up to 14th place. So that's 6 places already recovered so far. All sorts of shenanigans going on up ahead at the bus stop chicane. Phased Drifter's gone up the inside and has come across us slightly, give us a little bit of a tap. We've had 3 cars go wide on the exit there though, but we've now been given a 4-second penalty. I'm going to assume that's for when Phased Drifter clipped the front of my car on the entry to the bus stop. That's in no way, shape or form my fault. Neither of us even left a track and he was overtaking and made the overtake. So again, what's going on, Gran Turismo Sport? Are you alright, mate? I don't get it. So we're going to now have to slow down again on the Kemmel Straight. Fortunately, we're not going to lose as many places because the field has spread out a little bit more than it had on lap 1. But we are still going to drop down to 18th place. Although that's only momentarily, as someone in a Haas Kevin Magnussen livery decides to go all Haas driven by Kevin Magnussen and knock someone off a track. So we're back into 16th place again. Right, so now we've got to try and overtake everyone again. Magic Dragon's gone wide on the outside there and we're up into 15th. Through Puon, we're going to see if we can get onto the back of the cars in front. And you can see we've already lost 13.5 seconds, according to the graphic on the left hand side, to the leader, which is not great. means we're going to really struggle to be getting, well, we're going to struggle to win this race, let's put it that way. But there's still plenty of opportunity to get a decent result. We've got 3 cars directly in front of us, so let's focus on trying to get onto the back of them. Now, they're all going to have a slipstream on each other, which is going to not really help us, but the fact that they're battling with each other, and you just know that one of them is going to go for a lunge into the bus stop, means that we might have a bit of a chance of picking up some afters. So one of them goes deep, bumps the other one wide, so we've managed to do one under traction, so that's up into 14th. Tem has gone slightly defensive into La Source. We're going to outbrake him, go round the outside, and then do him under traction with a bit of overtake as well. So round the outside of La Source. I'll take that. And we're up into 13th place now. We've got a couple more cars up ahead to try and chase down. Now, I should probably actually explain why am I playing Gran Turismo Sport when, for all intents and purposes, it's a game that only has one mode, the online mode, and it's kind of blighted by nonsensical penalties. Well, realistically, I've only been playing F1 2019 as the only racing game I play for getting on for 6 to 12 months now, and in all honesty, I've got a bit bored of it. I've been doing my league races, I haven't been uploading the races because they've been quite boring for me. I think the races themselves have been very interesting, and an outside observer who's watching the whole thing has been very good, but my individual races have been generally quite boring, and I think it's because I haven't really been putting the effort in because I found it quite boring, and because I don't put the effort in, it means I don't really have much pace, which means the fast guys get ahead of me, the slow people, well, they're just slow, and I'm just sort of stuck in the middle, trundling along, not really doing anything, getting bored, which makes me a bit bored of the game. Vicious cycle, innit? So I decided to give it a bit of a mix-up and try a different game. Now, there are 2 reasons I wanted to do this. The first is that the most recent patch to this race happening added my actual in real life car to the game, which is the decidedly unexciting Fiat 500, and it was very exciting to drive around Spa in that, going about 70 miles an hour at the most, struggling to go up the area here. Going up there in a Fiat 500, it just does not like slopes, hills, corners, straights. It's not a fast car. Trust me, I've driven it in the Peak District. It didn't get on. It did not get on well there. So I wanted to do that. But also, the Super Formula cars are something I hadn't driven before, and it's sort of like a mix on the F1 game. So I'm thinking, well, I like driving single-seater cars, so let's drive a different single-seater car. Plus, my league race was round Spa, so I thought this is kind of, in a way, some practice. So I thought, I'll give it a go. Unfortunately, it was ace. And this was one of, I think, 12 races that I did over the week. Now, we've overtaken someone there, so we're now up into 12th place. We're going to think briefly about a move up the inside of Salvatore to try and get 11th place, but we think better of it because it's not really a great overtaking place. Plus, Salvatore is going to be giving me a tow all the way down here, and it's going to give us a really good chance into the bus stop. So we're going to stick in the slipstream, hang under his rear wing, and then see where he's going to go. He is kind of staying a little bit defensive, so we're going to go round the outside, we're going to brake. He's defended the apex, that's absolutely fine. We'll give him a little bit of space so we don't touch him, and try and get a good exit out of the bus stop. We don't really get a great exit, I never really do, but we're going to have another chance down the back straight. So, overtake, that's one of the nice things that you get with the Super Formula cars. You have an overtake button, you can basically boost yourself bit like Kerrs in the early 2010s Formula 1 games, but you've only got a set amount for the entire race, so you've got to make it count. Works really nicely on acceleration out of corners. We've got a little bit of a run on Salvatore here. We're thinking about it. We're going to go for it. We outbrake him. We're going to go round the outside there. We try and be as nice as possible. He gets a bit of a wobble, and we are up into 11th place. I think that was fair enough. I think we gave him space. There was maybe a teensy bit of contact, but I think it was okay. Shame that he did lose a position as well as to us, so he's down in 13th, but hey, it happens. So we're now up into 11th place, and we can see the top 10 is ahead of us. So that would be the top half of the field. Let's ignore the fact that 2 people have disconnected. I'm probably assuming it's going to be people from behind who have been cut adrift and just cannot be bothered to race with us anymore. But we've got to get past FaZe Drifter again, who we were battling with on lap 1, and get back into that top 10. You can see there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars up ahead of us, all in one train. So that's, what's that, 5th place ahead of us? So we get into the top 5 if we overtake the cars in front of us. And that's not too bad given where we were after the first couple of laps. So they're all getting a bit concertinaed up in front of us. FaZe Drifter lives up to his name and does a bit of a drift in the exit there. And we're going to have a look at the inside into La Source. Think better of it. He doesn't think better of it and absolutely rams into the McLaren up ahead of him. And actually not a McLaren, it's just an orange car. And yeah, we get the place ahead of FaZe Drifter because of his, well, I mean, that's not even a dive bomb, is it? That's to the next level. Anyway, we are now in the top 10 and we have got a tow. Velikas has really not given us much room on the inside there. He's managed to get ahead. I think the slipstream he's got off a Russian ahead of him has helped him out there, and we're getting a bit of a nudge from the Hatchet behind us, but we managed to hang on to 10th place. Now we go through this long right hand corner. We've got a car, according to our radar, just on our inside, but he's not able to take the place. We go through the corner with no name, which I think actually does have a name now, but I don't know what it is, so you know, and through Puon. We can see a car up ahead has gone wide, so that might help us out. Even if it's not getting past him, he might interfere with the cars ahead. And you can see they've gone side by side into the right-hander. That's put the pole offline. He's gone wide there, and we've got a place, and according to the radar, he's just absolutely walloped someone behind him. Unlucky, mate. And that puts us into 9th now. So we've still got these 2 cars ahead of us, and again, it's the same old deal here. We're going to try and get a slipstream. But we have to be careful here because the 2 cars in front of us are going to be fighting it out into this chicane. So we don't want to try and throw it up the inside and become a third person. Now, Velikas has tried to go around the outside and actually made it stick. That's really impressive. So well played, mate. And he's managed to get away. Now it means that Sway in front of us is a little bit vulnerable, so we're going to go up the inside, outbrake him, get the car turned and get straight into Velikas' his slipstream, get a bit of overtake and see if we can get another place down the Kemmel Straight. So through Eau Rouge and Radion we're doing pretty good. We can see top left hand corner, he's actually slightly, well, he was slightly pulling away from us. We're now closing in on him. He might have used overtake to defend, and it means we're not really going to have much of a chance of getting up the inside into sector 2. But we do manage to close in a little bit under braking, and well, we've just got to try and bide our time really, because we're in 8th. We've still got 6th and 5th just ahead of the battle we're in at the moment. We get a bit of a wobble there, not sure if we've got a nudge, but no harm done, so never mind. And we're going to come down here. Now, Puon, I was actually doing quite well through Puon. I always seem to gain a little bit of time, and there's always a good chance that other people are going to run wide. In this case, I've actually managed to jinx myself and slightly run wide there and lose a bit of time. But generally, I was finding not an overtaking place, but I probably gained quite a lot of places through all of the different races that I did through Puon because of people overdoing it and then drifting wide and then being able to get past them when they have to try and return to the track and then going slowly. And sometimes you get a penalty for doing that as well. Sometimes you get a penalty for running wide. Sometimes you don't, because if there's one thing the penalty system in Gran Turismo Sport absolutely hates, it's consistency. It is very not consistent, or inconsistent, as people who use correct English would actually say. Anyway, another lap, and we're still in 8th place. And now on the 8th lap. 8 laps? Well, 7 laps actually, but it's absolutely flown by. And we're now in 8th place still, as we have been for the last couple of laps. And we've got to see if we can get past Thalicus, who is still in front of us, because we want to see if we can get a bit further up the road. We've got cars in front of us who I think we can fight with. So he's not got a great exit from Radion there, and we're going to try and go round the outside of him. We've got a good slingshot. You can see on the radar we're almost neck and neck. He's using his overtake to boost himself a bit further, slightly outbrake him there. Managed to get the overtake round the outside done. It was a little bit of contact, but again, no harm done. And we are now up into 7th place. So we've now managed to get into the top 7. We've got a 2-second gap to the cars in front. We've got to go. Interesting name. Up ahead, and we've got Yazed Al Jahani in 5th place. So we need to get after them ASAP. And you can actually see that 4th place is just ahead of them as well. So if we have a stonking last couple of laps, we could get 4th place. And I think in the circumstances, that would be a mega result. So there's a yellow flag, and it seems like someone has been reset onto the track, because we have now got 6th place. And the cars in front of us are now actually 3rd, 4th and 5th. So podium maybe? I don't know. I mean, we've only got 2 laps to go, and the guys in front of me do not seem to be slow, but they're battling, which is always going to really help in terms of closing in. So 2 cars in front of us we want to try and close on. They are fighting with each other, so that's going to help us out. Is one of them going to go for a move on the inside here? Not really, but it looks like there's a bit of a bump. So that might give us a bit of a advantage, and we're now less than 7/10 behind the car in front. And okay, he's got the slipstream on the car in front of him, but we've got the slipstream on him. So we're going to see what we can do down the Kemmel Straight. We're ever so slightly closing in. We're not going to be able to do anything on this lap at least, but what's going to happen up ahead? Are they going to try a move? So he's going to try around the outside, side by side through there. We're not really going to be able to do much here because they're closing us off and they're really battling for it. Tugo gives us a bit of a nudge, but that means we're going to have the inside line into the right-hander. Going to keep it nice and tight to give him space, and then he's going to have to back off, and that means we've got the job done. So very opportunistic move there, and taking advantage of the 2 cars battling it out. 3rd place seems to have got away here though, because of the battle that's going on. So you can see there's a bit of a gap, probably about 2 seconds or so between 4th and 3rd, which means I think the best we're going to be able to do here is 4th place. Now we're going to have 2 really good opportunities to do that. The first one is going to be into the bus stop, and the second one is going to be down the Kemmel Straight. And of course, in theory, we're going to have that on the final lap as well. Now we've somewhat ruined our chances there potentially by running wide on the exit to the straight here, but we're going to get a bit of a slipstream, and we're going to see where Yazed is going to go. Is he going to go defensive? He is, so we're going to try and brake in a nice normal place. He goes a little bit wide. We can't really get any switchbacks on him. That's well defended, and we've not really got a great exit from the bus stop there, unfortunately. So we're not going to have any kind of chance into La Source. So he's gone a little bit defensive for no real reason into the first corner. That might help us out. So we have got a 4/10 gap, and we are gaining. He's not going to have a slipstream from the car in front, and we have used a load of overtake. So it's a quarter of a second. 2/10. Going to try and see what we can do here. So where's he going to go? He is kind of in the middle, not really going defensive either way. We're going to go outside, we're going to go and outbrake, and we have managed to outbrake him perfectly round the outside and taken the place and nabbed ourselves 4th. Not too bad, eh? And we've got the car in front of us. We can see 3rd place, so if he were to make a mistake we might have a chance, but the gap is 2 seconds. I think it's going to be a bit tough. But as we head towards the finish line in this race, I thought I don't know, I just really enjoyed this race. I think even though there is something a bit off with Gran Turismo Sport at the moment with the penalties, they're not great, the FIA races aren't amazing, the track selection sometimes leave something to be desired. I mean, one of the reasons I stopped playing on this was because it was the same old game, same old car tracks, selections, and you know, after this race, the next weekly race, and indeed the ones coming up next week, are incredibly unappealing to me. But this mixture of the track and the car I really enjoyed, and if we have more races like this, I'm definitely going to be playing Gran Turismo Sport a lot more. So there we go, 4th place. We managed to nab the fastest lap of a race on the final lap as well, by a fraction of a second ahead of Polski Dolski. Nice name. But yeah, we managed to finish 4th there from 3rd on the grid, which, I mean, on the surface of it, 3rd to 4th isn't great, but when you were 20th after, what, about 4 corners, I think I'd take that. I think, to be honest as well, it also did really help that this track and car combination seemed to really work for me. I mean, this is a bit of a video from a different race that I did where I didn't get completely ruined by penalties at the start, and I was able to win the race. And in fact, I was able to win 5 races during the week out of, I think, about 12 or 13 efforts in total. To give you some context, before this I'd done about 190 races and I'd won 6 of them, so that's a little bit of an improvement in the rate. Now, it could just be that I've somehow managed to get good. Doesn't seem overly likely to me, but it could have happened, I suppose. Alternatively, maybe just this is a really good fit for me, driving style and car-wise or something like that. It's the first time I've ever actually even driven Spa on this game, so, you know, pretty good way to ease myself in on that particular track. And it also really helped with my driver rating. So before I stopped playing this, I think the last daily race I did was January 2019. My driver rating was around 15,000 points. It's now over 28,000 points, and I'm not actually that far off getting promoted to A rank, which is just ludicrous. And again, to give you some context, I'd never got over 19,000 before, so I'm into uncharted territories here. Now, of course, I would have loved to have continued and then done even more races, but I ran out of time, and then I'd have liked to do more races this week, but they're terrible. Maybe next week, but I think it's Interlagos and Suzuka in the Group 3 and the Group 4 cars. Not really setting the world alight with that. That's been the kind of races we've had since 2018, so, you know. And there's also an update as well, which has potentially fixed the penalty system. I'm told it's done absolutely nothing, so yeah, not ideal. So yeah, it's an interesting one in that it's given me enthusiasm to drive a game and it's somehow managed to kill it off almost straight away. But I think the thing for me to take away from this is that I want to drive other games. It's not just F1 2019, and if I just focus on one game it can get quite boring, so I need to freshen it up. Still going to be doing lots of F1 2019, still well into the Serious Racing League, absolutely no way they're getting rid of me on there, and they'll be hopefully happy to hear that. But yeah, definitely need a bit of variety to keep me on my toes, and I think this game is helping out massively with that. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to like the video or subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so, and let me know what you're making of Gran Turismo Sport at the moment if you're still playing it. I know that quite a few people are not. What do you reckon you're going to need to tempt you back in, other than just being bored of other games, I suppose? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, and the next video, goodbye.